purpose of this lesson is to learn about rhythm labeling. First thing that you need to look at when you look at a rhythm and figure out how to number it is your time signature, which is right here. This time signature is 4/4. Now the top number, top 4, tells you that there's 4 beats per measure. And the bottom 4 tells you what note gets 1 beat. In this case, a quarter note. Quarter note, which looks like this, is equal to 1 beat. Knowing that, when we look at our first sound that we have is always going to be labeled 1. We know that we have to go up to 4, and we know that this, a quarter note, gets 1 beat. So if that gets a full beat, looking over here, the next quarter note is going to be beat 2. Third beat after that again gets a full beat, so we'll label that beat 3. And the next note after that is also a quarter note, which would be beat 4. Now we have 4 beats in that measure, all quarter notes. Looking at the next measure, we know that having one beam together, that these are eighth notes. It's 1 eighth note individually gets half a beat, 2 eighth notes get a full beat. So we label that 1. Now it's 2 sounds per beat, so the second sound on that beat is going to be labeled with an and that brings us to, that gets a full beat, that brings us to beat 2, 1 and 2, which gets a full beat, makes that beat 3, and last beat 4. Here we have eighth notes again, 2 sounds per 1 beat, which would be 1 and 2 comes next. That gets a full beat because it's a quarter note, so we know this is beat 3, and second part of the beat 4. Last measure of the first line, 4 eighth notes, all beamed together with 1 beam, so it would be 1 and 2 and 3, 4 quarter notes again at the end of the measure. Skipping down to the second line, we have 2 quarter notes, 1, 2. We know that that gets a full beat, and that's beat 3. This is a half note, and you should know that half notes get 2 beats, so that's beat 3 and beat 4. There's the 2 beats that the half note gets, 3 and 4. Back to 1, beginning of a measure, and 2, 3. Again, the half note gets 2 beats. We show that by putting it in parentheses, so you know where beat 4 is. And the last 2 measures, we have 1, which gets a full beat, so the next one starts on beat 2, and 3, and we know that's a half note, it gets 2 beats. And lastly, here's 1 half note, so we show the second beat, 3, and another half note, we show the last beat, and you have your rhythms labeled.